I'm going to share with you the 5 mistakes that keep your photo and video business from scaling to 6 figures and exactly how to avoid them. These are the same patterns that trap talented creatives in that feast or famine cycle year after year. And after building my own 6-figure photo and video business and helping hundreds of others break through these roadblocks, I've identified the critical mistakes most photographers and videographers never overcome. The good news is these mistakes are completely avoidable once you know what they are. So without further explaining it, here are the 5 mistakes keeping your creative business from scaling. Starting with mistake number 1, doing everything yourself for too long. The first roadblock I see with so many photographers and videographers is they try to be everything: the creative director, the photographer, the editor, the accountant, the social media manager, and the client relationship manager. The list goes on and on here. The mindset of I need to control everything or nobody can do it as well as I can becomes a ceiling on your growth. I know this because I fell into this exact trap when I was building Pieta Productions. I had spent months building my client acquisition system, and it was working a little too well. I found myself in the position of having to say I was fully booked, and I was turning down clients, and I hate saying fully booked because I hate that term. It felt like I was leaving money on the table, turning away opportunities that had taken me so much effort to generate. The reality was simple. My capacity as a solopreneur was fixed. I only had so many hours in a day. And after reaching my full capacity, there was no way for me to grow without leveraging other people's time. Now, this trap is especially dangerous for creatives because we tend to be perfectionists. We convince ourselves that our unique vision can't be communicated to other people. Now, I was terrified that when I delegated my editing process, all my photos would look completely different. But the opposite was true. The quality didn't drop and the clients never noticed. And the solution wasn't complex, but it required a mindset shift. Start by identifying one task that 1, takes up significant time, 2, doesn't require unique creative vision, and 3, could be done by someone else with the right instructions. And for most photographers and videographers, this is often going to be editing. A good editor can take your raw files and follow your style guide and SOP and produce results that really match your vision. My first step here was hiring an editor for $4 per photo off Upwork. For a typical product shoot with 20 final images, that's only $80, but it immediately freed up at least 5 hours of my time, and those hours went directly into landing new clients, focusing on higher level creative work, and that brought in a lot more revenue for my business. So let's do the math here. If a typical product photography package is $2,000 for, let's say, 20 photos, outsourcing the editing there would only cost $80, leaving you $1,920. Now, if those freed up hours let you take on even 1 additional client per month, well, you've already increased your monthly revenue by $2,000. And you don't need to outsource everything at once either. You can start with 1 task, just document your process, hire someone part-time or an hourly basis or a per project basis, and scale from there. Even basic things like admin tasks like email management, scheduling your calendar, invoicing, these can be delegated to a VA for 5 to 10 hours per week at a pretty low rate. Now, the math here is simple. If you can hire someone for less than it costs you to do the task, every hour you delegate creates a ton of potential value. And this is how 6-figure photographers and videographers scale. They focus their time exclusively on the highest value activities only they can do. Okay, moving on to mistake number 2. Inconsistent marketing. This is the classic feast or famine cycle that so many creative business owners go through. When you're busy with client work, marketing stops. When projects end, there's nothing in the pipeline, so you frantically start marketing again. I worked with a videographer inside of Creative Biz Launch who was incredible at his craft. His client work was amazing, but his business fluctuated wildly month to month. And when I looked at his Instagram and his outreach patterns, it was very clear why. They were sporadic. He'd post daily for 2 weeks, he'd do some outreach when work was slow, land some clients, and then disappear for months. The result here was that his income would spike for a month or 2 and then drop completely. And this left him in a constant state of financial stress despite having real talent and a solid portfolio and great client results. Here's what successful 6-figure photographers and videographers do. They understand that marketing isn't something you do when business is slow. It's something you always have to be doing, even when you're busy with client work, and that's hard. This inconsistent marketing, it doesn't just affect your pipeline, it damages your brand reputation too. Because when potential clients check out your social media and see month-long gaps between posts, It signals unreliability. Now, your clients are probably never going to tell you this, but that's a reason why they may choose another creative over you. They'll look at your social media and see you're posting inconsistently, and they're going to think that that's what it is like to work with you. Think about it from the client's perspective. If you can't maintain consistent communication before they hire you, what will the experience be like after they've hired you, right? Your inconsistent marketing shows that you're going to be inconsistent in client communication. Now, even if that's not true, that may be a perception that clients have of you before they start working with you, and that's why they never begin working with you. Now, I helped the same videographer here transform his business by implementing a very simple but consistent marketing system. So instead of the typical feast or famine approach, he committed to posting on social media every single week and sending 5 personalized cold emails daily, no matter how busy he got with shoots. And to make this sustainable, we create systems to do this. 1, during the shoot, take 10 minutes to capture behind the scenes content. 2, batch content creation 1 day per week or per month and create 20 pieces of content in one go. 3, use scheduling tools to automate posting. 4, when you're doing outreach, use proven email templates from someone who's done it and dedicate 30 to 60 minutes each morning to personalize that outreach. Remember, the best time to market is when you don't need clients. That's when you can actually negotiate from a position of strength. This is how you break that feast or famine cycle, by marketing consistently even when your calendar is full, so that you're never desperate for client work. The solution here is creating sustainable marketing systems. So number 1, batch content creation when you have downtime. So shoot behind the scenes footage during your client projects so you don't have to do it again after the shoot. Number 2, use some sort of scheduling tool to maintain that consistent posting. Use a calendar plus an automated posting tool for this. 3, implement that regular cold outreach rhythm, even if it's only 5 emails per day. 4, set up automated follow-ups for proposals and your cold emails. 5, use a content calendar so you can schedule a week or a month in advance here. And 6, you can repurpose your client work into multiple content pieces so you don't have to recreate that content. When I began sending 10 cold emails every single day, regardless of how busy I was, my business really transformed. Even during my busiest months, those emails ensured I never had to haggle with those budget clients, and I could work with clients that I actually wanted to. Now, before I move on, if you want more help in growing your photo or video business, join my free community where you can learn the exact systems I use to scale my own photo and video business to multiple 6 figures. You can click the link down below and join for free today. We're really close to hitting 1,000 members, and I'd love for you to be part of this awesome community. Okay, mistake number 3 is neglecting the client experience. So many photographers and videographers are so focused on getting that next client that they neglect creating a really great experience for their current clients. And this is a massive missed opportunity. I learned this the hard way in my own business. When I first started out, I was so focused on those final deliverables, the photos and the videos, and making sure that they were perfect that I completely overlooked the importance of the entire client journey. The reality is that the client experience is what turns one-time clients into repeat clients and referral machines. When someone hires you, they're not just buying your photos or videos, they're buying an experience and results. What most creatives don't realize is that the actual deliverables, your photos, your videos, those are just one part of the client experience. The entire journey from that first inquiry or reach out email to the final delivery and follow-up shapes exactly how clients are going to perceive your service. Think about the best luxury experiences in the world, like high-end hotels, restaurants, or stores. They're not just separated by like the core product or the core service. It's the entire experience surrounding it. The same principle here applies to your creative services. Here's how you can create a really exceptional client experience in a few steps. Number 1, document a clear client journey from inquiry to final delivery. 2, create templates for every client touchpoint. 3, set up reminders for check-ins at project milestones. 4, over-deliver on timelines. Promise 7-day turnarounds and deliver in 4. Number 5, add unexpected wow moments. Things you didn't say were part of the package, but you include anyways. 6, establish clear communication expectations. 7, create a structured onboarding process. 8, implement a follow-up system. 9, make the referral process easy and incentivized. When I implemented a structured client onboarding system with mood boards that I delivered within 24 hours of signing, my client satisfaction went up. One of my beverage brand clients, they were so impressed with the experience that they not only hired me for monthly shoots, but also referred me to other brands that they knew. The math here is really simple. Delivering an exceptional experience to 10 clients who are going to vouch for you and refer you to 2 of their friends is worth way more than having 30 one-off clients. This is way more profitable than constantly chasing client after client. Plus, repeat clients typically have a higher average order value than new clients because they already trust you. We are in a world where technical skills are getting more and more commoditized. And with the rise of AI, client experience is your best friend here to really differentiate yourself in this ever-changing world. It's going to be the difference between being just another photographer and being an actual strategic partner in someone's business. Moving along to mistake number 4, not knowing your numbers. This is the mistake that keeps so many talented creatives broke despite having plenty of client experience. Without knowing your numbers, you're essentially flying blind. If you're not tracking any metrics yet, start with just these core numbers. 1, start with input metrics. These are things that you can control. So these are going to be the number of outreach emails that you send every week, the number of content pieces you post every week, the number of follow-ups with potential clients you send every week, the hours spent on creative work versus the hours spent on admin work. Now, once you have your inputs tracked, you can start tracking output metrics too. These are the results. So these are going to be the response rates to your outreach, the revenue per client, the profit margin per client, the percentage of proposals signed versus sent, and then the percentage of repeat clients versus one-off projects. That's it. I think those are 9 numbers that you can just pick right now and start tracking. You also don't want to overwhelm yourself with some fancy software, fancy dashboards that promises you to kind of display your metrics. All you really need is a simple spreadsheet to track all these. A Google Sheet is plenty to start with. Just update that once a week and you're good to go. I'll be honest though, for the longest time, I really resisted tracking my numbers because it reminded me too much of my 9-to-5 corporate job where everything was about spreadsheets and metrics. I got into photography to escape that world and not to bring it with me. So it was a big mindset shift for me. I didn't track anything but my bank balance for like the first 2 years of my business. And I figured as long as I had money in the account, I was good to go. But then I hit a wall. I was working constantly and my revenue was plateaued and I couldn't really figure out why. And it was only when I started tracking my metrics in just a few cases, like I mentioned, that it became very clear where I was spending my time and what I was doing wrong. And the simple act of tracking just a few key metrics made it really clear what was working and what wasn't. So I could put more effort into the things that really moved the needle forward and got rid of everything else. As photographers, as videographers, we're trained to focus on our craft, not our financials or our numbers. But the harsh reality is that your artistic talent, it's not going to sustain a business if the numbers don't work. So I recommend scheduling a monthly CEO day where you review these metrics and you can make those strategic adjustments every month. Now, once you have this data, you can actually make these strategic decisions in your business. So like which services to really emphasize or what things to phase out, how to structure proposals most effectively if you know what your close rate is, what to say on certain sales calls that led to a deal being closed, what content to post, what kinds of emails to send, right? How to package your offerings more effectively, which clients are the most profitable clients, and really where to focus all of your marketing efforts. Now, remember, what gets measured gets managed. You can't really improve what you don't track here. And creative businesses, by nature, us creatives, we don't like tracking stuff. But if we want to scale to 6 figures and beyond, we don't just need great portfolios. We have to know our numbers. Now, last but not least here, mistake number 5, scaling too fast. This one's a bit counterintuitive, but sometimes if you scale too quickly, that can lead to massive failure. And I've experienced this firsthand in my business. When I landed those first few like major clients, I was super pumped. And the projects, they were huge. They were a lot bigger than anything I ever had before. The budgets were massive. And I thought that I finally made it. And I was so excited by these opportunities that I took on even more clients without really considering whether I could handle all those clients. So what followed was kind of this period of chaos, right? So I didn't have any proper systems. Project management was really overwhelming. I didn't really have help as an editor or anything else on my team. So I found myself actually missing deadlines. And that was something I've never done before. I forgot important client emails, again, something I didn't do before. And I delivered inconsistent quality, which hurt my customer experience. So this caused a lot more stress. And again, it led to that worse customer experience, which, as you know from earlier in this video, a bad client experience hurts your ability to scale. And this mistake is particularly dangerous because it often disguises itself as success at first. You start getting more clients, you get more referrals, more revenue, But things seem to be going well, but all of a sudden, without the right systems, this growth creates this kind of pressure that eventually causes everything to topple over. And the truth is that growth requires systems. When your business grows beyond what you can personally manage, systems, they're no longer optional. They're essential in your business. They're what allow you to maintain quality and consistency as you scale. So here's how you can scale strategically. Number one, document your core processes before you need to delegate them. Create those SOPs. Number two, implement project management tools that can handle increased volume of clients. 3, create standard operating procedures for every single recurring task you have in your business. 4, develop clear communication for you and your team members. 5, build capacity over time, not all at once. 6, create clear client onboarding workflows. 7, establish quality control for final assets. 8, develop some sort of finance system that can scale with your growth. 9, reinvest in your business by working with coaches one-on-one or joining a membership community. And 10, ask for feedback from clients to track how you're doing. Here's a practical approach before you really start accepting any new clients beyond your current capacity. Ask yourself, do I have documented processes that someone else can follow? Have I identified the constraints or the breaking points in my current workflow? Do I have the right tools to manage that increased volume? Can I maintain quality standards with more clients? And last, do I have access to talent that I can bring in to support this growth? Now remember, scaling isn't about getting bigger. It's about growing strategically and sustainably. The goal here isn't to really maximize your client load. It's to optimize your business for profit, sustainability, and impact. Now, the most important sustainable growth happens when your systems evolve alongside your client load, not after you've already become overwhelmed. Now, this approach, it may seem slower initially, but it does create a foundation that you can support exponential growth in the long run. If you need better systems in your business, consider joining Creative Biz Launch. That's my membership community for photographers and videographers making less than 6 figures but actively growing. These 5 mistakes, doing everything yourself, the inconsistent marketing, neglecting client experience, not knowing your numbers, and scaling without systems, these are the main reasons why so many creative businesses hit those plateaus. Remember that building a sustainable creative business is a marathon, not a sprint. Each improvement you make compounds over time, and it creates a foundation for long-term success. The good news is that fixing these issues doesn't require a ton of business skills or massive investments. It simply requires awareness and then action. If you're making any of these mistakes, don't feel bad. Every successful creative business owner has made them too. What matters is really recognizing them and then taking the steps to correct them along the way. Thank you so much for your time today. Both the free and membership communities are linked down below, and I'll see you in the next video.